Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great week. This week we are talking all about the home. So here I am at home. My kids just whipped up a pie in the oven for tomorrow is Pie Day. We're celebrating around these parts. But I want to talk to you about cooking because I know it's such a big part of what happens in the home. You know, family's got to eat, but it can also be a major stressor. So I wanted to share with you today 5 hacks for cooking and in just enjoying it in your home. So number 1, you got to have a plan. I will never forget every day coming home from work and hugging my kids, and the very next thing they would say is, "So what's for dinner, Mom?" And it would kind of just like shoot through my spine. I don't know if you've ever like encountered that, like you're ready just for like 5 minutes to relax, and they're like, "All right, where's the food?" So number 1 is definitely have a plan. So meal planning is great. And remember, that doesn't mean you have to go full bore for the whole month and cook it all on a Sunday. There's a lot of different degrees in there, but just having a game plan for what meals you're going to make when, maybe some tricks of doubling up some nights so that you're not cooking every day of the week. But simply having that plan, it even gets a little bit to what we talked about yesterday. I'll cut down on those shopping trips. If you just know what you need, get it ideally once a week, and then set off. So whether you're cooking in advance or cooking the night of, just knowing what's on the menu and what you need to actually carry it out. Number 2, I'm calling systems. So you can get a little extra help in a lot of different ways these days. And the last couple of years, we actually swore by a food delivery service called HelloFresh. And there's so many different ones just like it. But it's basically gives you a meal in a box. Everything is pre-measured, all the ingredients. And then it gives you a very foolproof recipe and steps with pictures of how to put that meal together. And I will say we did that for at least a couple years, and we made it a whole family event. It definitely sharpened our cooking skills, not just me, but my kids. And we really enjoyed it. It became kind of like a family activity every day. And the food was terrific and had far more detail and thought put into it than I would typically do on a normal weeknight. So that was really a special thing for us. But we've done plenty of different systems over the years. We put together our own like family menu, and we had all the recipes set aside. So we would sit one day of the week and choose what do we want off the menu and just kind of follow our go-to recipes. Right now, we're actually doing a food delivery service that's all like clean, pretty healthy, simple, very simply prepared meals that all we need to do is reheat and nothing frozen about it. So that's kind of got a nice ring to it. That seems to be working with our lifestyle right now. So whatever it is, and I'd encourage you to experiment with different things to see really what works for you. And while you're doing that, you're going to be thinking about like what's most important right now. Is it convenience? Is it being cost effective? Is it really having that experience of cooking and eating with your family? So don't just kind of assume one or the other. You may want to try out different things and see what works for you right now. There's plenty of options, that's for sure. Number 3 is all about tools and shortcuts. So I know people are so big on their Instapots, air fryers, slow cookers. These can really be amazing in terms of just set it and forget it. Whether it's in the morning before your whole day starts, or even in the evening, you set it and take care of some other things, or actually sit back and relax, and then boom, your meal is ready. What I love about those two is it tends to be kind of a one-pot deal, so just kind of keeps things more simple in the kitchen. And to that point, the next one is prep and clean. So whether you're preparing the meal, gathering all of the ingredients, or cleaning up after, again, I always say this should be a team sport, but you can also be really intentional about how many pots you're using, how many dishes you're creating, how much can just be kind of tucked away in the dishwasher versus you need to like scrub at it for hours. I know some folks swear by like one pot meals or one pan meals. So they just have one thing to clean up, and that could be a cookie tin that's got veggies and starches on one side and meat on another. That could be one pot where you're kind of throwing all things in a stew, and then you just have one thing to clean up. And I love a lot of pans that go in the oven that are glass that I can actually just rinse and throw in the dishwasher and not have to worry about soaking and scrubbing. So keep all of that in mind when you're, picking out what it is you want to have for your meals and what system really works for your family. So we talked about having a plan. We talked about testing out different systems, seeing what works for you. Number 3 was really those tools and shortcuts with the Instapot, for example. Really thinking about, number 4, your current need. Is it all about cost effective or time effective, or really the quality of the meal and your time together? And then the prep and cleanup tends to be the killers. So having put in good thought and how you want to structure that. And then last thing I would mention for my families out there with the picky eaters, and we all have them, yes. And it can be so tempting to go like the short order cook route, and you've got like this meal happening here, and then you're like chefing up buttery noodles over here, and somehow that child is eating like pasta every night of the week. It's so tempting just to keep the peace in the moment, but I will share with you what's worked with my kids, and I do have picky eaters, is just to make sure that there's another option available that's simple and really not that appealing, that they would prepare themselves, and always start everyone with having what the family meal is. And our mantra generally around these parts is you don't have to like it, but you do have to try it. And that just gets them every time taking a taste. So if it's a taste of food that they're not used to, at least they're getting some exposure to it, and you may see them develop a taste for it over time. So those are my 5 hacks for enjoying cooking and meals with your family. It can be such an amazing time. I'd love to hear what works for you, and or what's a source of heartache for you in this area, and I'd love to talk to you more about it. Until we speak again.